I'm going to show you how to make some little blocks for children, and they're very useful for christening cakes and things like that. You'll need some spacers. Now these are just MDF, they're 12mm thick or ½ inch thick. They do need to be that sort of thickness, you'll see why later. So you need 2 of those. And like I say, these are just little bits of offcut of MDF. You'll need your palette knife, your glue brush and your glue. You'll also need your smoother and a set of tappets for the letters. I like to use these ones from FMM. They're quite handy, nice size. They always tend to fit in the blocks I make. And when I use the tappets, the little pin, so you might need that, you might not. It depends how you get your letters out of your tappets. You also need an inch square cutter. Okay. The paste that you need will be some white sugar paste, some blue sugar paste or whatever colour brick you'd like to do, and some white flour paste and some blue flour paste as well. Obviously these are going to be for the letters, that is going to be for the outside of the block, so those 2 colours are quite optional, but you do need white for the inside. Okay, so we're going to start off with the flour paste. You do need to be ahead of the game with this one. So just flatten it out slightly, get your rolling pin, and you can use a bit of corn flour, a bit of icing sugar if you find that it's sticking. This is actually rolling out really nicely. Now you need it quite thin, but you don't need it as thin as what you do with some flours at times. So about 1mm thickness will be fine. Get your cutter and cut out a square. Now you're going to need 5 of those. So once you've got your 5, pop them in a bit of foam to dry out, and then we can come back later and carry on with our making our block. Okay, so these are the little squares dried off. Like I said, I've got 5 of these. So now I need to put the letters on them. So using the blue flour paste, obviously we only need 5 because we don't see the bottom letter because the bricks are stood on them. It's totally optional as well. If you're not going to be able to see the back of the block, if you're putting them up against a cake, you don't have to put the 5th letter on it as well. So you could get away with just doing the 4 letters. Okay, it's a little bit sticky, so I'm just popping a little bit of icing sugar on here. You can use corn flour if you want to. That's better. Okay, so that's rolled out really quite thinly, probably about ½ mil to 1 mil thickness. You don't want it too fat. Now I'm going to cut it into strips because I find if you do this it's easier to work with the letter cutters. You're not cutting out paste you don't need to cut out in the other letters. Now it doesn't really matter what letter I'm going to use at the moment, but what shall we use? Should we use H? It's a nice square letter. Just press your tappet letter cutter into there, pull off the excess and just pop your letter out. Now if you find that your flour paste is a little bit too soft, then you can always just let that stand like that, your strip stand for a few minutes to let the tackiness go, and you'll find that they'll come out your letter cutter quite easily. Now get your little square, and you can use either a little bit of glue like I'm going to use or a little bit of water. Just rub it around your block, pick your letter up and pop it into the centre. Just make sure it's nice and square, smack bang in the centre. Okay, so you do that with all all 4 or 5 of your squares. Okay, I'm not going to do them all because I just want to show you how to get these things done. So you've done your squares. Next thing to do is to build your block. So get your spacers and get some white sugar paste or modelling paste, depends what you've got in the cupboard. All this is going to do is basically be your centre structure for you to build around. So pop your paste in between your spacers, roll out your paste and get your square cutter, push it into the centre and then pull out your square, and do that twice. Now because they're 2 1/2 inch depth squares, when you put them together, get rid of those, when you put these things together, let's get the thing so you can see a little bit better. A little bit of glue on there. It should be 1 inch. You now have got 1 inch block now. So I'm going to use a little bit of glue and pop it on the top or the bottom, and just pop that to one side, let that go a little bit tacky. Now using your blue paste, it's nice to say have a contrasting colour or a light and a dark colour. Now roll this out roughly to 1/8 of an inch, so you're talking 2 or 3 mil.